You might be puzzled by the title of these videos. After you see me doing for years, literally hundreds of videos on all the features that QRadar have, and this is the PDF where I put an index to all of those. And you say, well, what is it that QRadar doesn't have? And this is a playlist of 5 videos. I encourage you to watch them all, in which I'm going to be building, in the first video, I'm going to be building a wish list of things that yet QRadar does not have. And I'm going to be showing in the subsequent ones what is it that IBM is doing to fulfill many of these wish list things, and what is it that it's doing as the product evolves. So let's start with the first thing on that wish list: cloud native. QRadar today is not cloud native, and by cloud native I do not mean runs on cloud, because it has been running on all the clouds for years. I'm talking about, and I like to call this dynamic scalability. I want my hardware to grow and shrink with demand. Particularly if I'm doing stuff on the cloud that you only pay for what you're using, it's very effective to say, well, if I have a peak of ingestion, or if I need to perform long searches and stuff like that, I want more hardware to be allocated, and when that situation subsides, the hardware gets decommissioned so I don't have to pay for it. Well, that is something that you cannot do either with VMware or physical appliances. It's not really feasible. And why would you like to do that? Well, again, you can have peaks of ingestion. Let's say that you are under attack, you have a particular incident that is generating a lot of traffic, and your traffic varies over the years, over a year. Let's say that on the, if you are retail, and then on the high season, then that ingestion increases and then it subsides. Well, you want to only pay for what you are using. In standard QRadar, you need to put all the hardware, physical or virtual, very close to your very top. I mean, you can queue a few things here and there, but that's the beauty of cloud, that you only pay for what you need. So if you have things that are variable, the cloud is the place to save some money there. But you also want to deploy hardware in a dynamic way, particularly when you are talking about fast search. And I'm not talking about, AQL searches in QRadar where you use data nodes and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about orders of magnitude faster, because in the cloud, and with more and more data that we are ingesting, these things are growing an order of magnitude again. What about a better language for searching? AQL, it's a SQL type of language. And the problem with SQL, and I have a separate videos on KQL where I explain that better, but it is not conducive to security, folks. That is for database guys. If you ever seen a nested SQL, it's very hard to actually understand. At least it is for me to really understand the meaning. It's even harder to write the right SQL right and get it not to give you syntax errors. So again, something better than SQL or AQL, and that is definitely KQL. Again, there's a separate playlist for it. Now, what about a database that is really incredibly fast for 2 reasons? One is because it is row-oriented. It's not row-oriented like standard databases, or record-oriented, but it's C, or column-oriented database. And we search in security by columns. We don't look by that. And again, I explained the technical advantages of that there. But there's a database called ClickHouse that does that, and not only runs with that dynamic scalability on the cloud, but is a row-oriented, and the performance of it is really spectacular. Building on the wish list, some people want to have the storage flexibility that many cloud providers give you. So it's not just cold and hot, but you have different levels and different prices, and you don't have to call anybody when you need the data. Well, we don't have that in QRadar today. Well, it will be nice not to have to perform or deploy disaster recovery or HA in QRadar. Why if I get that intrinsically? Well, in the cloud, because of the big investment that these cloud providers do, and their own mechanism for getting things to automatically redeploy when they break, and well, people when going in the cloud, they don't talk about DR and HA. They may have different regions, but not the RNHA. Well, today in QRadar you need to do that, and that has an extra cost and complexity. Some people want to pay not for EPSs but by gigabytes or servers. No, I want to pay just by ingested data. The more I ingest, the more I pay. We don't have that today. When people just want a data lake solution, and by mean of a data lake, I mean I want to have a data lake where I can dump all the security logs so I can search them in a fast and easy way, like using ClickHouse and KQL. But I want those logs to be parsed in the context of security. I want severity and categorization to go along with it. Well, QRadar is a full SIM. It's not a data lake for that. Another thing, and this has been always a long wish list, is a better UI. I don't think that many people accuse QRadar of being sexy looking, but I want a UI that not only looks better, more modern, but also is better suited for the flow in which people perform investigation. I want the things to be nicely positioned so it's more natural, it's more intuitive when a threat investigator is using the tool. Another one, integrated case management. Well, you see, I have shown several videos in which we show how from QRadar you can, from an offense, you can send the data from the offense to a SOAR or a case management, and from there you process that. But why do I have two systems? Why? I mean, it's almost all the offenses are going to end up being on case management. Why do I have to go into that extra step? Instead of graphics, QRadar has been using for a few years now Pulse. Well, many people prefer other frameworks for graphics like Grafana instead of Pulse, and I want to have the flexibility of have them both. Some people are really very big on Grafana, and you can maybe say that the graphs are a little sharper and the UI is a little better. Again, nothing wrong with Pulse, but some people prefer Grafana. And what I'm going to be showing you to the next videos on this list is how I go into fulfilling all those things. I mean, many of them I just began with release 1, but IBM will keep on building onto those things. But what I would like to get is that expertise that IBM has on ingestion, on parsing, on rules and all the stuff being brought into this modern infrastructure. And it is called login sites, and it's the scope of the next videos on this playlist.